Okay, hello everyone. Today we are going to see about the concept that is related with that of hydatiform mole. So if you see that whatever the problems to the mother during pregnancy, so what we see that in OPS we have divided into three parts. That is what we see in this diagram is antenatal, intranatal, and the postnatal. This antenatal again two parts: mother, normal, abnormal, embryo, fetus, normal, abnormal. Then intranatal, mother, normal, abnormal, postnatal. That is after the delivery, mother, normal, abnormal, and neonate, normal, abnormal. So now what we are seeing, the abnormal part, this part we are seeing, this one, mother abnormal part we are seeing. So what is it? Problems to the mother during pregnancy. There are many problems to the mother. It may be hemorrhage in during early pregnancy. It may be antepartum hemorrhage, that is the hemorrhage before the delivery, that may be the same. Or if there is a vomiting, it may be increase in the baby, that is PIH. Or there may be there may be anemia. So what we see that we have seen completed about the nausea and vomiting during the pregnancy. Then we have seen hemorrhage in early pregnancy. So that is hemorrhage during early pregnancy, that is maximum cause is 95%, it is abortion. Then the disturbed ectopic pregnancy and the hydatiform mole. And in case of APH, there is abruptio placenta and placenta previa. So today we are going to see this second part, that is the hydatiform mole. So problems to mother during pregnancy, that is hemorrhage during early pregnancy, abortion 95%, hydatiform mole, and the disturbed ectopic pregnancy. So what is hydatiform mole? Hydatiform mole, what is it? It is a rare mass growth that formed inside the womb. If you imagine uterus, and inside the womb there is a formation of growth of the chorionic villi, and it is also known as, there is a second name to it. It may be called as a molar pregnancy, or it may be called as a hydatiform mole, or it may be called as a gestational tropoplastic disease, or it may be called as a vesicular mole. So there are different terminologies to this. So how it is clinically, how can we see? If you see in this diagram, this first one, it is the normal uterus. This one is the normal uterus, and this one is the molar pregnancy. And if this is the basic difference. What we see that here it is the growth which is taking place inside of it. So that is the molar pregnancy. So if you see from the definition point of view, so it is abnormal condition of placenta. What is it? There is an abnormal condition of placenta. What happens? Where there are partly degenerative and proliferative changes in the chorionic villi and result in proliferative changes in the chorionic villi and the result in the formation of cluster of small cysts of varying size. What is meaning of cyst? If there is a collection of fluid in the sac, is called as a cyst. And how it looks like? So it looks like the bunch of grapes. That is, looks. So this is how it is clinically looks like. In this diagram, what we see, this is in right side, there is a normal placenta. while in left side what we are seeing it is the hydatiform mole. So this is the normal where what we are seeing it is the normal placenta, while in left side there is a hydatiform mole. See, these are the vesicular structures which are present on the left side. So that is hydatiform mole. So what is the incidence wise? What is meaning of the word incidence? Incidence means if the 100% patient comes to your in your OPD of pregnancy, so how many patients are new patients are adding to this? That is meaning of incidence. So in that highest in Philippines, that is 1 in 800, while in lowest in European countries, while in case of 1 in 752, while in case of India, it is about 1 in 400 pregnancy. So incidence varies depending upon the different countries. So next point comes, it is the what are the types of hydatiform mole. So it is again divided into two parts. Sometimes it may happen that the uterus it is completely filled with this type of the mole, while in case sometimes it may happens that there is a partially means or half part of it is consist of the hydatiform mole. So next question it is, what is complete hydatiform mole? So what is it? It is the placental tissue is abnormal swollen and appear to form fluid filled cyst, and there is also no formation of fetal tissue. So in case of complete hydatiform mole, there is no any fetal tissue. All it is all the uterus inside of it is filled with that of filled with that of these tissues, placental tissue, and in that fetus it is absent, while uterine size more than that of the date. So if you see the pregnancy of some 1 month, 2 months, so it's the size should be or 3 months. So size should be approximately to that of 3.5 months. So it is approximately to that of amenorrhea. But in case of hydatiform mole, the patient, a female patient is telling you the history, which is not matching with that of the uterine size. It is more than the expected size of the uterus. So what is clinically, if you see in this diagram, see here it is in uterus, it is cut section. This is the cervix part of it is. This side it is cut, and if you open it inside of it is, this is the grape like structure. So all this it is filled with that of the this mole. So this is the complete variety of the hydatiform mole. This is actual picture how it is actually practically it is seen, that is the hydatiform mole. While there is one another variety that is called as a partial. From the word we can understand what is complete and what is partial. So partially, that is half. It is not a complete inside of the uterus. It is filled with that of mole. So it may be normal placental tissue along with some abnormal forming placental tissue. So both normal placental tissue are also there, and the hydatiform mole is also there. So there is a, and in that additionally there is a formation of fetus also. So but the fetus is not able to survive. What happens in this situation? That what is in normal pregnancy, there is nothing, placenta, then fetus, then umbilical cord is there, amniotic fluid is there. In that scene, the pregnancy is going to be continued. While in partial hydatiform mole, half part it is filled with that of the hydatiform mole, and the half part remaining part it is filled with that of fetus, but the fetus is not there may be presence of some normal placental tissue, but they are not of that much of capacity to give the proper nutrition to the fetus. So the in that scene, whatever there is a no continuation for the pregnancy, and the fetus is present the uterine size, it is less than a dead. Whatever the size of the uterus, it is less than dead. So say in what is, how can you clinically differentiate between the partial and complete? In complete hydatiform mole, whatever the size of the uterus, it is more than that of dead. While in case of partial hydatiform mole, it is less than the dead. That is, if the female is having amenorrhea for the 4 months, 3.5 months, but her uterine size is not matching with that of amenorrhea date. That is clinically how can you differentiate. So this is, see what is this is. This is abnormal growth. And this side it is the umbilical cord. This is the fetus, but it is not going to survive. Now next question arises is, what is the reason why this is happening, that mother, there is, why not there is a normal development of placenta, why not there is a normal development of the umbilical cord, why not there is a normal development of the fetus? So what is the reason that placental cells are turning to that of the mole-like structure? So there are different reasons. That is the maternal age, that may be the factors. Then sorry, then the previous molar pregnancy, if the female is suffering from that of similar complaints in the previous history, then that will be the etiology. Sometimes the nutrition, if the mother is not getting the proper nutrition, most of the in same, what we say, that in village or where there is a mother early marriage, and she's is not getting the proper nutrition, and in that scene, if she becomes the pregnant, that nutrition, lack of nutrition can lead to this situation. Or sometimes there is a cytogenic abnormality can lead to it. So now how we can differentiate between, see in this diagram there are three varieties, that is normal conception, second one is complete mole, and third one is partial mole. What is in normal conception, what happens, that is, we know that the this ovum unites together to unites with that of sperm, and in that there are 23 chromosomes in sperm, and 23 chromosomes from the from the ovum, and there is a union, that is 23 23, that is 46 is going to take place. There are two sets of genes, one from the paternal, one from the maternal, and whatever the product of conception, it is going to develop the normal fetus. But in second variety, in case of complete mole, say there is a problem. What happened over here? There is a sperm, it is there, but what is the ovum, it is empty. There is one problem from the maternal side, there are no genes. So whatever here, this 23, it is absent, because ovum does not carry the maternal genes are absent, ovum it is empty. So whatever the product of conception, it depends upon only single paternal genes 23, and it leads to the 46. So what is, it is not of that much quality, so it leads to the complete mole. That is the variety, that is the reason behind why there is a complete mole. And next one is, that is the partial mole. Sometimes it may happen that maternal genes are normal, but one ovum unites to with that of two sperm. So see, this is one sperm, this is another sperm, and ovum. So how many genes? 23, 23, and the 23. So total it is 69. So again it is three sets of genes, one maternal, two paternal, and whatever the product of conception, it is fetus is going to be there, but non-viable fetus. While in case of complete mole, there is no question of fetus because maternal genes are absent. So no fetus, but only the whatever form it is, the growth it is taking place of the chorion, and that leads to the complete mole. Complete mole. So here in complete mole, no fetus, while in case of partial mole, there is a fetus, but it is non-viable fetus. That is how can we clear, what is the reason behind it. So this is the three, just see in this diagram, that is maternal chromosome inactivation, that is ovum and the sperm, 23. 46XX, 46 androgenesis, cell duplication, 46XX. while a paternal chromosome duplication, paternal chromosome only, then that is the same. Homozygous 90%, or paternal 2, here it is the dyspermy, because two chromosomes are coming. And here what we see saying in this, no means ovum, it is empty. So this is the pathogenesis of complete hydatidiform mole. While that of pathogenesis of partial hydatidiform mole, it is the dyspermy, two chromosomes, two sperms, one sperm and second sperm. So and plus ovum is also there. Oops. Then 23x, 23y, 23x. So total it is the 69xxy. So it is a triploid, that is 69xxy cells, maternal and paternal chromosomes. See this 69xxy, 69xxy. This is having the fetus, but it is whatever the fetus, it is non-viable fetus. So now, what are the clinical symptoms and the signs? So what is it basically? Whatever it is not going to continue for the 9 months, 7 days. So whatever it is the dark brown to bright red vaginal bleeding during the first trimester, and it is going to have the discharge, and whatever that discharge per vaginal, it is the bright red to bright brown color, and timing it is in the first trimester, that is the first trimester. And sometimes gestation's fluid also present due to rupture cyst. So there is a severe nausea and vomiting, sometimes vaginal passage of grapes-like cyst. So whatever the discharge from the per vaginally, what you see, the grape-like structure. There may be pelvic pressure or pain, or sometimes a female patient presents with that of pelvic pressure or pain. And there are other signs also. So it may be rapid uterine growth, preeclampsia, that is the increase in the BP, that is 140/90. There may be proteinuria and edema. If this three combo is present, then it's a preeclampsia. And due to the bleeding, there is a anemia. So if you see the signs, so on the general examination, preeclampsia, in how many patients? It is in 20 to 30 percentage of the cases. And what is the time duration? It is usually before 20th weeks. That is the 28 weeks of gestation. While due to the bleeding, there is going to be anemia, there is going to be present the pallor, and there is a hyperthyroidism. In 3 to 10% of cases, it is manifested by enlarged thyroid gland, and the tachycardia is going to be there. Why the tachycardia? Because of chorionic thyrotropin secreted by trophoblast. And the HCG also has a thyroid stimulating effect, because we know that HCG stands for human chorionic gonadotropin. It is having effect on the thyroid. So there is an increase in the thyroid stimulating effect, and definitely the pregnancy is there. So breast signs are going to be there. The uterus is more than the period of amenorrhea in case of 50% of cases, that is incomplete variety. Corresponds complete hydatidiform mole corresponds to 8 in 25%, and the smaller in 25% with inactive or dead mole. The uterus is duffy, that an inconsistency due to the absence of amniotic fluid and its distension with vesicles. So if you do the per abdominal examination, so how it feels, it is not that much of a firm. It is a duffy. Then there may be some distension with vesicles, and the fetal parts and heart sounds cannot be detected. Normally, if you do the per abdominal examination, we are going to feel the fetal parts, that is the curvature, head part, we are going to, then heart sound we are going to detect. But in case of hydatidiform mole, all this is that is soft consistency, fluffy consistency. There is no fetal parts, there is no any heart sound that what we are going to hear it. And if you are going to do the local examination, so local examination, there is a sure sign that is a passage of vesicles that is going to be seen, and in sometimes there is a bilateral ovarian cyst in 50% of the cases, and no internal ballotment. We are not going to see the internal ballotment. So this is the say just grape-like structure what we are seeing over here. So this is the grape-like structure. Now, if we are saying the grape-like structure, so now we have to do the investigation. So first important, it is the proper history taking. That is the question that we have to ask the history for amenorrhea, then the proper physical examination, that is the per abdominal examination, per vaginal examination. Per abdominal examination, we are not getting the patient is saying that I'm having amenorrhea, but you don't get it the fetal part, you are not feeling the fetal part, you are not able to hear the heart sound, and if you do the per vaginally, there is a clear cut sign of the vesicles, what you are seeing it. Yes, a clear cut sign passage of the vesicles. Sorry. Then you have to do the investigation, that is CBC, ABO, RH grouping, that what we have to do it. That is commonly presented with that of anemia. Then ultrasonography, that we have to do it X-ray, and the first that is histological examination, and urine test. Why we have to do the urine test? That is HCG value increase more than 1 lakh MIU per ml, and the CT scan and MRI, but it is not recommended commonly. So for the investigation in that urine pregnancy test, that is positive in high dilution, that is 1 by 200 in highly suggestive, and 1 by 500 it is surely diagnostic that it is. In normal pregnancy, it is positive in dilution up to 1 by 100. And second, that is what we do, it is the beta HCG level, that is highly elevated in more than 1 lakh international MIU per M1. And if you see, this is the picture of how it is going to look macroscopically. So complete hydatiform mole, it is showing this structure. This macroscopic changes transform the chorionic villi into the cluster-like vesicles with very well dimension. Dimension you can see in this diagram. Some are small, some are big. So there is no specific shape that dimension we can say that. So the name, it is the hydatiform mole, that is stemmed from this, that is bunch of grapes. How you see the grape structure? So it is going to see like that. So investigation, it is the ultrasonography. If you see, do the ultrasonography, because ultrasonography it has the waves. So how it is there is no proper structure. It is going to is there. There is a cyst, that is the chorionic villi are converted into the cyst like structure. So on ultrasonography, what we are going to see, it is the snowstorm appearance on the intrauterine structure. So and there is no, in case of complete variety, there is no identifiable fetus, that is, and in case sometimes what we have seen on the 50% of cases, the bilateral ovaries are also showing the cyst. So in bilateral ovarian cyst may be detected, and if you do the X-ray abdomen, shows that no fetal skeleton. Normally we are having the skeleton, but in case of hydatiform mole, there is no fetal skeleton, and the X-ray test should be performed in every cases of trophoblastic tumor. So this is the example of, say this one, what is the diagram, like a storm, it is there, snowstorm appearance with multiple cystic areas, no fetal tissue present. So we are saying no fetal parts, no curvature, no head part, no head circumference, no abdominal circumference. Only something like foggy, something snowstorm like the scene, what we see in the ultrasonography. And this is the corresponding T1 weighted MRI. It is MRI can be helpful in determining the extent of trophoblastic disease. This is for the how much extent it is there. So next question it is, okay, we have diagnosed the hydatiform mole. Now next question arises, What is the treatment part? What is the management? So there are supporting management, that is we have to give the IV infusion, blood transfusion may be needed depending. So for that you require the blood group matching. Then antibiotics we have to give it and the blood is kept for the reserve. But in case of definitive management, it is the suction and the evacuation. It is the rapid and effective is in almost all cases, and it's done even when the uterus is of 28 weeks gestation and the cervix favorable or a group mole is in process of expulsion, and if cervix is unfavorable or if cervix is unfavorable or group B, the uterus remains the inert. So this is the suction evacuation. What is it? Is a dilatation of the cervix. It is done by whom? It is by Hegar dilator. There are a number of size. What we see are seeing is different size, from large to the medium size, lower size. There are different types of the dilators. That is Hegar example like number 10 Hegar for 10 weeks amenorrhea, and the suction cannula used will be of the same size also. So this is seen in next diagram. It is the suction evacuation. What is it? A suction cannula which may be of a metal or of a disposable plastic variety can be there. It preferred is introduced into the uterine cavity, and the cannula it is connected to the suction pump is there. So it is adjusted at a negative pressure of some 300 to 500 mmHg. According to the duration of the pregnancy, we have to manage, and it's sucked out from it. And whatever the product we have removed, we have to send for the histological examination to rule out if there is any malignancy. See, this is actually how it looks like. See, this is the scale which is present, and here it is some part we are saying it is some hand, some legs, and this is the mole, and this is the structure, how much size of it. Curettage after evacuation. Completion of suction and evacuation, the uterus is gently curated with a sharp curette. Some advise curettage 1 week after the evacuation to ensure whatever the inside of it goes outside. So complete removal, but this is not the routine practice. So this is seen in this diagram. This is the amnion, uterus, placenta, 9 weeks. So, this is the speculum, Casca speculum. This is the cannula which is introduced inside of it. A speculum is placed in the vagina. A tenaculum is clamped to the lip of the cervix. See, this is the lip of the cervix, and a cannula is inserted inside of it into the uterus. The amniotic fluid, placenta, fetus are suctioned through the cannula into the collection jar. The fetus and the placenta are torn apart in the process. So this is how it is the process it is done. And sometimes we have to think about the hysterectomy, curettage following the vaginal evacuation. So what is hysterectomy? Hysterectomy, it may be needed for evacuation of a large mole. If the mole it is of large size, we can think about it. Why? To minimize and facilitate control of bleeding, so that there should not be too much of bleeding. And it should be considered in women over 40 years who have completed their family, and if there is a fear of the developing of choriocarcinoma, the whole uterus it is removed. That is hysterectomy. And so it is followed by the curettage. This is the instrument curator, which is remaining part if it is removed. And follow that inquiry about the relevant symptoms. If there is a question, we have to ask it if there is any relevant complaints the female is suffering from. If there is an abdomino-vaginal examination, we have to do it properly, proper investigation, and we have to advise the contraceptive to the couple. Then the complications, it may produce the hemorrhage, there may be sepsis to it. Sometimes the uterine perforation can take place. Sometimes patient may go into the preeclampsia, that is increase in the BP 140 by 90, proteinuria, and the edema. that is hemorrhage. Sometimes there is an infection due to absence of amniotic sac and due to the large surface area left after expulsion or evacuation of the mole. Sometimes there is a perforation of the uterus spontaneous by a perforating mole or during evacuation. Then pregnancy-induced hypertension, that is BP is increasing, hyperthyroidism may be there. Sometimes subsequent development of it may go into the cancer condition, that is choriocarcinoma, about 5% of cases, and invasive mole in 10% of cases. Or sometimes it may happen that in the next pregnancy again the recurrent mole can happen. That is the one. Now we are going to just having the short revision. That is what we have seen today. Okay, so what we have seen today is about the hydatidform mole. So what is it? Hydatidform mole, short revision. OPS, mother abnormal. In that hemorrhage in early pregnancy, we are seeing the hydatidform mole. Second part, this second part we are seeing it, hydatidform mole. Problems to the mother, it is the, what is it? Growth, where it takes place inside of the uterus. Second name, molar pregnancy or vesicular mole or hydatidform mole or gestational trophoblastic disease. This is how it is clinically. This is normal, this is abnormal, molar pregnancy. This is definition, abnormal condition of placenta. What happened? Partly degenerative and proliferative changes. In whom? It is in the chorionic villi. And what it leads to? Cluster of small cysts, like bunch of grapes. This is the variety. This is normal. This is normal. This one is hydatidform mole. Incidence we have seen it. Types complete, incomplete, incomplete, no fetus. This is a complete variety example. In partial, there may be fetus but non-viable. This is the partial variety. Etiology, problem with the mother, maternal age, previous history of it, nutrition problem, or cytogenic abnormality. Reason, normal, mother, maternal, paternal, normal genes, normal pregnancy, incomplete, this empty ovum, while in partial mole, 2 sperms are there. Fetus is there, but it is non-viable fetus. Pathogenesis, ovum, it is empty. Incomplete variety of hydatidform mole. In partial, more than 1 sperm. So it is multiple, triploid. Fetus but non-viable. Symptoms, vaginal bleeding, bright red. That is why we had included in the hemorrhage in the early pregnancy. Not whatever the nausea, vomiting is there. Then there may be sometimes gelatinous fluid maybe come from the rupture cyst. There is a passage of Krebs-like structure from the vagina. A little bit of pelvic pressure or pain. Then sometimes in complete hydatidform mole, the height of uterus is more than normal, while in incomplete partial one, height of uterus it is small. Signs, preeclampsia, pallor, hyperthyroidism, breast signs. Then the uterus feels stuffy, then the local examination, passage of this vesicles, bilateral, this is actually sign diagnosis, UPT serum, SCG, USG we have to do it in USG. Snowstorm, treatment, suction evacuation, and if last, it is the not done, then hysterectomy in last stage. So that is what we have seen today. That is the in complication hemorrhage perforation can be there. So that is we have finished about the hydatidform mole. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, for understanding, we can continue the second session also.